All right, hello everybody. How's it going? My name is Larry, head of ecosystem and part of the founding team at IoTeX. So for those that don't know IoTeX, we've been around in the crypto space since 2017. We built a layer 1 blockchain to start and have since added a lot of DePIN specific middleware, such as decentralized identity for devices. We do a lot of zero knowledge proofs to verify real world activities, and have now expanded into the AI sector to bring a lot of the device data, device services, device resources to the masses through AI. So my talk today is about modular infrastructure for the future of DePIN and AI. We live in a really interesting time right now where AI agents are kind of proliferating in the digital space. Everyone's probably used some form of ChatGPT or some AI-enabled digital tool, but now we're seeing AI really start to penetrate the physical space. Maybe not in your daily lives, but definitely in the business sector. We're seeing a lot of robotic arms doing manufacturing of vehicles. We're seeing a lot of warehouse robots sorting things in Amazon warehouses. We're starting to see dancing robots almost daily posted by Elon and other kind of physical AI companies. And we're seeing autonomous vehicles, cars, trucks, even planes starting to transport goods from here to there. So this is a different but ancillary kind of sector to the AI agent sector that we were talking about before, but one that I think has massive potential, but also has a lot of risk, as this doesn't just touch your digital footprint, but touches your physical footprint. So how do we make this safer, and how do we make this scale globally? We think blockchain has a really, really, really important role here. We live in a really interesting time, right? Every day we scroll Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and we see images and videos that we don't know if they're real or not, right? So maybe this is you sitting in front of your computer thinking, is what I'm looking at a deepfake or is it real? Put a different way, who you trust and why you trust is becoming more and more important in the digital space, but more importantly, in the physical space. This is why we are so interested in blockchains, right? Blockchains cannot be hacked, but it's really the trust layer for how humans and machines will interact with the digital space in the future. We trust blockchains because anyone can go on-chain and verify transactions, computations, etc. By themselves. They don't have to trust a central intermediary to say, trust me, I've done this correctly. Everyone can go and trace the steps back on the blockchain. But when we start to think about the physical world, we don't have the luxury of signing everything with a wallet, right? The real world is different than the digital world. A lot of these things originate off-chain. And the fact that they originate off-chain means there's no digital signatures to verify that are kind of like the things we're used to in the DeFi, the NFT, etc. space. So how do we bring the same level of verifiability and trust to things that happen in the physical world before we settle them to blockchains and make them a part of the digital world that we know and trust? This is really where blockchain and AI, more specifically DePIN and AI, is really going to make an impact on this future sector that we call physical AI, right? So real-time, multi-dimensional, verifiable data from the physical world is going to be what powers all of these robots, humanoids, machines, etc. that are going to perform a lot of actions for us in the future. Whether you like it or not, I know some people reject the future where you have robotic dishwashers and things like that, which are going to change the face of society. But whether you like it or not, this future is coming, and it's coming very, very quickly. Jensen, who is kind of the poster man for AI lately, rightfully so, has shown this graphic, and it paints the picture of how AI is progressing. It started with perception-based AI, right? Speech to text, using numbers and letters and text-based inputs as the starting point for what AI learns from, right? So this has enabled use cases like speech recognition, translation, medical imaging. This is where AI really got started. Next came generative AI, the Mid-Journeys, the kind of the generative videos, generative pictures that everyone is having a lot of fun with. This was trained on thousands and millions of images, right? So not just learning from speech and text, but videos and images. And this has really enabled new ways to do content creation, new ways to do digital marketing. Where we're at right now with agentic AI is not just training AIs with pictures, words, and numbers, but also code, right? AI agents can write code at PhD levels, even invent new system architectures. So it's not just basic entry-level coding anymore. It's really advanced code that AIs are writing, advanced ways to do customer service, and patient care, things like this, where agents take the role of humans. This is kind of like a role-playing way that AI is interacting with people. But at the top corner there, you see the holy grail of AI, which is physical AI. You know, we see it already with Waymos. I'm not sure if they have Waymos in Toronto, but in Los Angeles, where I live, Waymos are everywhere. Self-driving cars, not just people that opt in their Teslas to have their car drive, but replacing Ubers completely, right? We have robotics in Amazon warehouses, in Tesla warehouses, really transforming the supply chain as we know it. And I think 5 to 10 years in the future, these humanoids, Jensen really was recently on an interview. He said the humanoids market is going to be worth $50 trillion, meaning he expects a lot of these humanoid robots with human-like dexterity to be able to do more than just put parts together over and over and over. They're going to be able to interpret the real world, understand and navigate the real world, and think just like a human. So this is kind of the path towards physical AI, which is starting and going to come very soon. If it sounds scary, it kind of is scary, right? AI-powered machines are coming, right? How will they navigate the real world? How can we make sure that these machines work for humans and not for nefarious actors or other people, right? And this is really where the source of data to train physical AI is super, super important, right? Just as if you trained AI to code using really shitty code, it's going to learn how to write bad code. If you train AI with people that don't know how to play soccer, it's going to learn how to kick a soccer ball really strange, right? So the data that's going to be required to train physical AI is inherently different than what we've used to train speech models, and even the AI agents we use from a lot of the big LLMs today. So this is kind of where we see the physical AI landscape. And these are all different steps and products that IoTeX is unveiling and utilizing, right? The first step, I'm going to walk through each of these steps to really share where we're at today, what's been accomplished, and what's coming next. The first step is really to sense things, right? There's hundreds of billions of devices that are going to be on the Earth very soon. These are all equipped with sensors, video cameras or sensors, temperature sensors, all these different things that are grabbing physical phenomena from the real world and converting it into digital data, right? A lot of this data is used passively, but all of it is being fed into AI to train them to think and understand the real world just as humans do. An important next step is to verify that all this sensed data is coming from trusted sources, right? Today, it's easy to generate data with just a server, right? You can mimic, you can simulate data just as if it was real, but if we are providing simulated fake data to train AIs, then again, the result of this AI is going to be untrustworthy and trained on false data. So the ability to verify is extremely important. Once we have verified data, we can start to train models, starting with more niche tasks in maybe some sub-verticals. How does a robot humanoid learn how to wash dishes? Well, it needs to learn from thousands of hours of videos of what the proper way to wash a dishes, right? We can also start to model different types of verticals against each other. These relational insights about how to think about a more end-to-end task, not just a point solution or a point task, is really how AIs are going to navigate more complex tasks. And finally, with these relational models, we can start to automate trusted robots for use in the physical world. So starting with the sensing aspect, just like an iceberg, right? Like what we have today in this online data sector, online data used by these generative AI companies are trained on text and images, as I mentioned before. But the real massive amount of data that's been untapped by AI is this real world data. Trillions of sensors capturing information about the physical world, about how humans navigate, about how all these different machines are navigating. So finding a way to aggregate all this information is absolutely the first step. And this is coming from, just take a look around, like when you walk down the street. You're gonna start to see video cameras in the corner, video cameras there, here, sensors, fire detectors. All these are different types of sensors that are measuring physical phenomena and using it for a purpose. But all of it is useful when we think about how to train AI to understand what we see, right? Next step about verifying. This is really where IoTeX is focused a lot over the years. The verification of devices comes kind of in two forms, right? Just like as if you're to hire a person to work at your company, you're gonna wanna verify their identity, AKA, are you who you say you are? And you're gonna wanna verify their capabilities, AKA, are you doing what you say you're doing? Or are you capable of doing what you say you're doing? So we have two products. One of them is called ioID. It's a decentralized identity framework for devices specifically, where we can issue on-chain identities to devices, issue them verifiable credentials about who their manufacturer is, what latest time they've been serviced, what kind of sensors are equipped, what kind of insurance and warranty policies these devices have. It's similar to a human's passport, right? It provides an identity that can be verified by other people, so you can trust this device is real. After you know it's real, you want to measure what can this device really do, right? The only way to test what a device can really do is to issue it a challenge and see if it can respond, just like you do in an interview. You wouldn't hire a coder without giving them a coding challenge, right? Once they pass a coding challenge, you give them a credential that says, hey, you can code at a expert level in Python, and then you hire them. Same thing for these robots that can be called in the future. So we have a protocol called WebStream, which utilizes zero-knowledge proofs in order to verify things that a device does in the real world and issue them credentials that say, yes, you can measure temperature to 5 decimal places. Yes, you can participate in the supply chain. Yes, you can do X, Y, and Z things. And these credentials and this ioID, this DID, is really the foundation of should I trust the output of these devices to perform a job in the real world? And more importantly, can I trust this data to be fed into an AI model in order to teach future robots how to do these jobs? So the verification stage is incredibly important. Not just the source of the data, but how this data is processed. This is the IoTeX tech stack. Not all these layers are built by IoTeX, but we have a lot of partners that really, we call this the data value chain, right? Data and real-world insights, real-world services, resources come from the hardware layer, but this data needs to be transmitted, it needs to be sequenced, it needs to be stored, it needs to be computed, and then after that, it can be finally settled to the blockchain. So this is our tech stack that a lot of DePINs are utilizing, and we offer all these tools to different types of physical and digital world builders at IoTeX. Once we get into the training stage, this is starting to be a really exciting sector where there's a lot of different types of data sets that need to be put together in order to create the AI agents that we see today, right? A lot of these AI agents are trained on general purpose data and a niche data set that is maybe proprietary. The previous speaker was talking about private AI clouds that are trained on inputs and data from your specific company. But even as a human being, you have very personal data that maybe you don't want to be shared. If you want to train an AI agent to automate things in your home, whether it's a Roomba robot or a humanoid robot in the future, you don't want that data to be really leaked and used to train other people's things if you don't want to. So this training thing incorporates data from all different sources. One thing that IoTeX helps DePIN projects with is taking their data that they use to run their own business models and kind of repurpose it to train this broader AI data set composed of multiple DePINs data. So it has a better understanding not only of one vertical of data, but again, the relational insights across verticals. And this is a protocol we have that's called Quicksilver. It brings real-world data to AI agents to make them more sentient and understand what is going on in the real world, right? A lot of these AI models today are trained on historical data, literally scraping every available data point from the internet. But a lot of that is stale. It doesn't have the latest Knicks Celtics score. It doesn't have the latest temperature in this room right now. So to make AI models more understanding, especially of real-time information, we need to gather this data from devices, we need to verify it, and we need to make it readily available to AI agents to provide better service to humans. So this is part of the training process here. The modeling process, I'm not going to dive too deep into this, but again, this is really where you start to intersect insights from different verticals. A good idea of this is thinking about the human body, right? Human body has a lot of different systems, respiratory system, nervous system, all these different types of systems that do different functions in the body, right? The ability to understand your blood pressure is important, but how your blood pressure impacts your sleep, impacts your ability to do physical activity, impacts your likelihood of getting an aneurysm. These are the relational insights that are drawn by intersecting data from different verticals to get a bigger picture understanding of the human body. The same thing is true of the real world, right? We have all these different systems, from traffic systems, to weather systems, transportation systems, social network systems, all these different systems that are kind of seen in silos today. So one holy grail part of like the physical AI initiative is how do we intersect different types of data and draw out these relational insights that humans themselves can't interpret, can't see, right? These supercharged AI systems are going to draw relational insights that were previously unavailable and give us an even better understanding of the world than the top researchers could provide today. We're doing this with DePINs, right? From weather to transportation to smart city to energy. There's a whole spectrum of data, from public data to paywalled data to corporate data to personal data to crowdsourced data. So across different verticals and across different accessibilities of data, there's so many insights that have yet to be intersected, and a lot of insights that have not been available yet. And I think this is really where the breakthroughs in AI are going to be. How do we solve cancer? It's not to how do we cure cancer is not going to be to do the same things and draw the same relational insights as before, but it's to discover new insights, relational insights that were previously undiscovered. And finally, the automation stage. This goes back to the original slide that I was mentioning. The world is becoming more and more automated as we know it, right? Whether you choose to participate in it or not, there's billions of people around the world and billions of machines that are all going to be working in tandem. I think we're coming to a future where humans are going to be able to call machines to do certain tasks, just as they call AI agents to write blogs or process payments. Pretty soon you're going to get drone deliveries, you're going to be able to hail transportation rides, and I think in the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to start to see humanoid robots do more complex things that require extreme types of dexterity. So all of this to say, the future is coming. We need to use blockchain in order to secure it and verify it and make sure it works for humans and not for nefarious actors. So the end game, DePIN and AI, not interested in another meme. If you want to learn more, reach out to us, iotex.io, Telegram, IoTeX group, email hello@iotex.io, and come build the future of DePIN and AI with IoTeX. Thank you guys.